Hey guys, it's Kelsey here, and if you don't already know me, I have been passionate about health and fitness since I was about 13 years old. And I'm purposely wearing this shirt today, Too Fit to Quit, which is a Nike shirt, and I happen to love Nike because they're very inspiring. And I have an extensive education in exercise and exercise psychology. So I'm not an expert, but I have gotten a little bit of the best of both worlds. So today I really want to take the time to go over what a binge looks like because I know a lot of people out there are struggling with binging and their emotions as well, and how they're going about dealing with those binging behaviors. So I'm also going to be going over positive and negative coping mechanisms so that you can sort of categorize yourself and take sort of an inventory of the habits that you're doing now and give you some advice as far as habits that you can implement to change your thinking patterns and help you to overcome binge eating. I was a binge eater for anywhere from 10 to 12 years. I sort of lose track, but I started when I was 13 and I no longer binge. Even though it is a classified eating disorder in the DSM-5, I believe that it's a product of disordered thinking and it's something that you can overcome, and I'm proof of that. So in the next hour, I would eat probably all these cookies. I would probably also eat milk chocolate covered potato chips. I would eat almond toffee bites, probably pretty close to the whole bag. I would make myself some nachos, and I would cover it with sour cream and melt some delicious cheese over them. And I don't have salsa, unfortunately, so I would be pretty bummed if I was going for a binge today and I didn't have the salsa, but I would still eat them anyway. I would make myself a tuna melt with some yummy mayonnaise and lots of cheddar cheese. And I don't have the bread with me, but definitely on bread. I probably would eat the rest of these Cheetos, healthy organic version. Well, not really healthy because there's not much of a nutritional value to them, but I would eat them anyway because they taste really good. And then I might make myself some mac and cheese, although it would be a lot of work on a full stomach. If I was desperate enough, I might make this too. And then last, I probably would, if I was really desperate, and we didn't have all that other junk in the house, I would go for me and my husband's piece of wedding cake, which is supposed to be saved for our 1-year anniversary. And that would be really sad because then I would lie about it. And I would say that I didn't really eat it and I don't know where it went, but I wouldn't say it until a week before our 1-year anniversary. Some negative coping mechanisms that you might use to deal with the stress and emotional stress of binging are getting tattoos. Okay, going out and trying to recreate yourself, such as dyeing your hair. I do have a Nike tattoo, and I used to dye my hair a lot. But I can tell you that's not going to help you solve the problem. You're going to try to recreate yourself and be somebody who you're really not. And so I would recommend that you steer clear from those behaviors, although the temptation is still going to be there. So another one would be framing someone who you really admired and the body type that you wanted to have. So I used to do this as well. But sometimes after a binge, it can make you feel even worse, especially if you've got a long way to go until you reach your goal. Watching television drama. Stay away from the drama. It's very negative, catty self-talk. And it does not help you to shift your thinking from being critical about yourself, to loving yourself. Dieting and restricting yourself after a binge. You don't want to do that. It might work for a few days, but the binge is going to come back again. Again, you are starting with the behaviors and you want to shift from the behaviors to changing your thoughts. because the behaviors are a result of the thoughts. Smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol are also negative coping mechanisms. Keeping a stash of junk food in the house for when you do have a binge, so sort of enabling yourself and giving yourself that cheat day. If you have a binge and you have an important event to go to, skipping the event. It's really important to get yourself out of your comfort zone, even when you're feeling really yucky after a binge, and just go to it. Just put on, your loosest pair of pants and do some deep breathing before you go and get out there and do it, because you're going to be holding yourself back and you're going to regret missing out on socializing and forming important connections with other people. All right, so that's pretty much it for the negative, although you might have your own negative coping mechanisms that help you really deal with the emotional stress of binging and the underlying, binging is really a symptom of some underlying emotional issues. Now we want to try to shift toward the more positive coping mechanisms. So instead of putting photos of half-naked women who are super fit, maybe they're models, maybe they're really skinny and that's what you want to look like, instead of doing that around your house, I would recommend keeping books in your house that are going to be information loaded for you. So superfood books, books on nutrition that you can learn about what foods really do for you and why you should be eating those foods. Because sometimes we don't want to eat fruits and vegetables, but when you know why you should be eating them, it becomes a big motivator. Another thing to do to help you start shifting from negative to positive coping behaviors are keep things around the house with positive affirmations. And it could be something like this, which was a gift to me. It could be a calendar of positive thoughts. It could be that you are going to the gym and you really are lacking the energy. So you put on a shirt that inspires you. For example, this one reminds me of my brother who passed away in 2015. So when I'm really not feeling like going, I put this on and I do it for somebody else. Another one would be to keep a book of affirmations, or like I do, I keep a Bible next to my bed so that when I'm feeling really down, it's just a reminder. I could pick it up and read it, but if I'm really depressed, I might not. So it's just a reminder, a trigger to think positively and remember who you are, because I know it and God knows it. You are worthy of love, and you can reach healing from binge eating. That is a primary list. Things that I have done are seeing a therapist. Seeing a therapist is a wonderful thing to do, because it helps you to get your thoughts and feelings out and really learn more about yourself and where the binging may have originated from. So telling others that you're binging and you have an issue and you really want to try to overcome it, and really helping others to be more aware of it. This video is a lot longer than 4 to 5 minutes, so I'm sorry about that. Prayer. Never underestimate the power of prayer, because when you're praying, you are restructuring your brain to think about the things that you want, the more, the changes that you see happening in your life. Another one would be keeping a journal. You don't have to do it every week. You don't have to do it every day, but have a journal next to your bed or in your drawer that every now and then you can just scribble and scream and do whatever you want as a form of emotional release. Another great thing is creating a decisional balance. Sorry, I have a really big list in front of me. So what are the pros of binging? What are the cons of binging? What are the pros of going on a walk instead? What are the cons of going on a walk instead? And doing that for all different types of positive behaviors, and making a pros and cons list for the negative behaviors as well. So that is pretty much it for today. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I've already kept you for 10 minutes. So just know that there is hope for overcoming binge eating. As severe as it is, it could be 2 times a month. It could be 5 days a week. And just because you aren't overweight doesn't mean you don't binge. And just because you're obese does not mean that you are a binge eater. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful.